No, Mr. President, more jobs. That's the answer for America. The question of this election really comes down to this. Do the people of America want 4 more years like the last 4 years? Or do you want real change finally?
One more day! 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 One more day!
Achieving it. I actually built a business. I helped turn around another business. I helped get the Olympics back on track. And then with the Democrat legislature, 85% Democrat, I helped turn my state from deficit to surplus, from job losses to job growth, and from lower take-home pay to higher take-home pay. That's why I'm running for president. I know how to change the course the nation is on. I know how to get us to a balanced budget and how to build jobs and make rising take-home pay happen again. See, accomplishing real change is not just something I talked about. It is something I have done, and it is something I will do as the President of the United States. If you're tired of being tired, then I ask you to vote for real change. Paul Ryan and I will bring real change to America from day one. When I'm elected, of course, the economy and the American job market will continue to be stagnant. But I won't waste any time complaining about my predecessor. Day one, I'm going to go to work to help Americans get back to work. And you know, people all over the country are responding to Paul Ryan and my 5-part plan to create more jobs and rising take-home pay. Part 1 of that is taking full advantages of our energy resources, our oil, to increase the number of leases and permits to drill on federal lands. And I'd like to speed the approval of the Keystone Pipeline for Number 2, I will move to boost trade, particularly with Latin America. It's an enormous opportunity for us. We need to take advantage of it. And I will finally designate China as a currency manipulator. We all have to blame it. Congress a retraining reform act to make sure every worker can get the skills they need for a good job. And number 4, I'm going to tackle out-of-control spending. I'm going to send Congress the first of several fundamental reforms. This first one will be called the Down Payment on Fiscal Sanity Act. And it is going to do something that's been spoken of but never done, and that is we're not going to just going to slow down the rate of federal spending. We're actually going to cut federal spending and get I'm not just going to take office on January 20th. I'm going to take responsibility for that office.
45!
Fire hiring. I'm going to act to boost small business, and all business, by the way. I'm going to issue executive orders aimed at straightening out the problems that are holding the economy back. The first is going to grant waivers from Obamacare to help against those that are killing jobs. For the first time in 4 years, every entrepreneur, every small business person, every job creator is going to know that the President of the United States and our government likes them and likes the jobs they help create. See, Paul Ryan and I believe in limiting government instead of limiting the dreams of our fellow Americans. Now, our choice tomorrow is going to lead to one of two very different outcomes. And people across the country, I think, have the information they need to know where those outcomes would be. They can judge what kind of America we'll have based upon who they vote for. If, for instance, they were able to re-elect President Obama, he will still be unable to work with Congress and the people there. Because he's ignored them in the past, he's attacked them, he's blamed them. The debt ceiling that comes up from time to time is going to come up again. There'll be threats of shutdown and default, and of course that scares the heck out of the economy, freezes job growth. I think the president was right the other day when he said he can't change Washington from the inside, only from the outside. We're going to give him that chance. That's his way. My way is quite different. When I'm elected, I'm going to work with Republicans and Democrats in Congress. I'm going to be regularly with leaders in both parties. And I'm going to endeavor to find good men, good women, on both sides of the aisle that care more about the country than they do about politics. And they're there.
There you go. God bless America.
There's no question, but you know that regardless of what he says, if the president gets reelected, he's going to continue his war on coal and oil and natural gas. I have a very different path. When I'm elected, we're going to change course on energy, to build jobs, to help with the price at the pump. We're going to achieve North American energy independence in 8 years. If the president were to be reelected, I'm convinced he will continue to crush small business with his plan to raise taxes on it, to force employees to join unions whether they want to or not, to expand regulations, and to impose Obamacare, which also kills jobs. I care about small business. I see it as a means for people to fulfill their dreams. Last week I met a woman in Richmond, Virginia named Rhoda Elliott. She's been running her family restaurant for a number of years, Bill's Barbecue. A business that's been in her family for some 82 years. At the high point, she had 200 employees. She just closed it down. And she told me that it was the Obama-era taxes and regulation, Obamacare, and the Obama-era economy that put her out of business. And she teared up as she was talking about it. This wasn't about money. This is about the future for her family and the future for the families of the employees that work there. I want to help the hundreds of thousands of dreamers like Rhoda, and I will. Campaign supporters, the public sector unions, insist on. And your kids will have the same schools with the same results. When I'm president, having learned lessons from Jeb Bush and the experience of Florida, I'm going to be the voice of the children and the parents across the nation because there's no union for the PTA. I want to make sure the kids of the nation get what your kids here get. I want to make sure they receive the information about the school their kids are going to know whether it's succeeding or failing. And I want every child to have the choice they need to pick the school where their child can succeed. I'm proud of the fact that in my state we took our schools to the top of the nation, #1 of all 50 states. But we did that by working together.